than that? That's Southern hospitality, right? Well, I had to come a long way. I had to fly all the way over here from Alabama. Who said ooh? What's wrong with Alabama?
Roll Tide.
I'm not even a Roll Tide fan. I'm not even an Auburn fan, so don't hold any of that. I just focus on business. My dad now can sit in front of the screen and tell you every first name, last name of every player and who's on the bench and who's coming in next year now. I just can't do that. I always tell my friends that watch football like religiously. Anybody know somebody like this? I say, if you spend as much time studying business as you do the players and the plays that are being done on the football field, you'd be a millionaire already. Anybody relate to that? Yeah, like I'm just being for real with it. So listen, I'm here for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to share my journey with you, how I went from where I was to where I am today, and how it's really not that far off from what can be done in today's market. And I also want to share some aha moments along that journey. Some things that I was doing that I'm sure most of you are doing right now, and you're kind of frustrated with it, burned out by it, trying to figure out how you're going to get it all done in a day. You know, how do you get past your competition? How do you beat them? How do you get more leads? How do you stop wasting time with leads that aren't performing? Anybody that relate to anybody in here? Okay, well, we all go through it, right? I wish I'd have met me 12 years ago. But I spent a great bit of time just beating my head against the wall until really one day an epiphany happened, and that was this right here, how I made $27,000 on vacation. Now, how many of you would like to go on a 30-day vacation and make $1,000 a day while you're on vacation? That was a game changer, right? That was when I just kind of woke up and was like, whatever I was doing, I'm not doing it anymore. Because this is what I need to do. And I'm talking real estate, because I was a full-time real estate investor when this happened. But what I realized is the way that I was going about building my real estate business was wrong. And I'm going to say business a lot here today, because at the end of the day, is this a business? Yes. What do we do? Who said make money? Well, that's the prodigy of it, right? We acquire and liquidate assets, right? That's what we do. That is our business model. We are acquiring and liquidating assets, and in return, we're placing funding for those assets too. I do quite a bit of private funding, well, really hard money funding, in my market and in some other select markets across the U.S. because it's the next revolution, right? You get in, you build a business, then you build a bunch of capital, and then you say, well, what am I going to do with this capital? Let me deplace it. Now, the reason I like what I do is because I always ask for half the equity of the deal. I'll fund it, but I want half the equity. They don't have to take my money, do they? No. But a lot of them do, because why? They don't have anything else, right? So the point that I make is am I making more than 3 or 4 points in those interests? Absolutely I am, and that's the only way I'll do the deal. So anyways, how many of you are here to actually or place money but also find great deals for yourself? Let me see that. Okay, well, that's the majority of you. All right, then I'm in the right room. Good. So like I said, my name's Zack Childress. Who in here knows who I am? Oh, well, I'm actually kind of cool in this room. How about that? Usually like 1 or 2 people raise their hand. I'm not the cool guy, you know? How many of you really know who I am, though? You do, and I know Ray does, a couple of you. Well, listen, if you really know me, I'm not a suit guy. I do this because I love Lee. I have showed up in blue jeans and a T-shirt, and they told me I couldn't speak before. But I mean, that's just, I'm not into all that, right? I mean, I'm a very down-to-earth guy. I own my house. I own 80% of my portfolio. I own all my cars, my boat. I own everything. I'm not into debt, but I'm also not into having the biggest house in the whole city neither. You guys understand me with this? I just want what I want, and I want it debt-free. You know, I'm fortunate that I'm 37 and I can have that life. But let me explain something to you. It was not given to me. You guys understand that? I grew up with a single mother in a trailer park raising 2 boys the best she could. So let me explain this to you. If you guys go out there, and I know the old saying is work hard and you'll achieve, right? How many of you been told that your whole life? There's a process to that. I'm not a fan of working hard at working. I'm a fan at working hard at not working. Okay? Because there's better ways to get it done, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So who wants to know the big secret? Only 4 of you. Let me see if I can bribe you. How many of you like free stuff? Yeah? I got some CDs here. I created these CDs when I went on ESPN radio, and it's called The 7 Secrets to Business Success. This relates to any business, right? What are the secrets you got to have? So here's my thing. If I ask questions and you participate, what could you win? A free CD. So now, how many of you in here like free stuff again? All right, good. Oh, who said that? There we go. I like that energy already. So let's talk about the big secret. So does everybody want to know the big secret? Yes. Okay, there's really no secret. I'm just being honest. It's not a magical pill you're going to take, right? Blue or red? Which one you want? No, but I have kind of narrowed it down to a formula. Now, and the reason I put this into a formula is because the first business I ever started, I was 25 years old, and it was real estate investing. Within 6 months, I left my job. Within the first year, I was just shy, $182,000 shy of doing $1 million my first year as a real estate investor. Right. That is a wow at 25 years old, right? So did I prove that it could be done? But I also proved something else. Could I have done more and done it faster if I had better systems in place? And then a guy comes to me and he has a staffing company that staffed nurses, LVNs, and RNs in California. I knew nothing about that. I'm not a licensed nurse or anything. But I said, it's a business. I don't need to know everything about the business. I just need to know what? How to get it to make money. I'll hire people. So I bought that company. I applied this system to it. After that, I bought a software company. I applied this system to it. And guys, from the last 12 years, I have bought, sold, merged, or created over 15 different companies. All following a simple system, which is me not working. How many of you like that? I'm telling you it can be done. I know a lot of people say it, but I spend on a bad week, I spend 20 hours a week in my office. And it's even to the point now when I go in there, they tell me to leave. Because I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to do, so I just want to talk to them. How was your weekend? You dating anybody new? What are you up to today? How's your kids? I just make my way around, and they're like, could you leave? Okay, I'm out. But write this down. I call it the P plus S equals A formula. And I'm going to break this down as we go through this training together. But it's the PSA formula. And the reason that this is important is because this is going to help you guys understand what you need to be looking at first so that you can then make this business run without you in it. Because one of the worst things I ever did with my real estate business is I built it all around me. And then when I tried to go and have fun, guess what happened? I couldn't. All I did was create a glorified job for myself. That was it, guys. That was it. And I remember I was like, why did I do this? Like, we create businesses because why? We have this American dream that we want to travel and take vacations and hang out by the beach and drink Mai Tais and watch the sunset, right? Wrong. We figure that out when we start a business. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm working 90 hours a week, 120 hours a week. And that's not that it can't be done. It's just that we go into it in what's called the technician mindset. Write that down. The technician mindset. Anybody in here ever read the book E-Myth? Okay, then you should probably know what that term means then. Let me cue you on that one. They're like, what was that about? Michael Gerber wrote the book called E-Myth, and I read it many, many years ago, and I've read his new versions too. But he was a genius at the fact of dissecting entrepreneurs and why they succeed and why they fail. And many other people have done it too along the years going forward. But there's this phase in an entrepreneurship called technician phase. And it's, for instance, let's say you're just really good at weaving baskets underwater. And you're the best. You can hold your breath the longest. You make the perfect basket. You go build a company, the new fad, woven baskets underwater. You go buy all the material. Well, guess who weaves all the baskets? You do, because you're afraid what? That no one else can hold their breath long enough to get that basket done. So therefore, you become stagnant. And that's called the technician stage. And the hardest part for a business owner, and small-based businesses consume majority of all businesses out there. And the reason that small-based businesses fail and have such a high fail rate is because of that one phase right there, the technician stage. They don't know how to move from that to the managerial stage. The managerial stage is when you let go. It's when you let go. You let other people do it, and you let them do what they need to do. Are they going to make mistakes? Yes. They put systems in place, they put technology in place, and they put people in place, and then they step back. The problem with small businesses is this, is most of them don't come from money. They go out, they work real hard, they build this business, and this business is their legacy. This is what they're going to pass on to their kids. This is what takes care of them. This is what puts food on the table. And they will go down in flames before they let someone else destroy what they built. Right? And that's the mindset they have. And that's the mindset most of you in this room will have right now. And maybe not when I'm done with you. But the problem with that is you're never going to get anywhere. So that's where this came in. I had a hard time letting go too. But let me tell you something. The year I let go, I created 4 companies and did over $10 million that year. The year I let go. And I brought people in and just let them run the whole thing. Let them run all 4 companies. I just backed up. And literally, I fought myself to stay home. And what happened when a guy like me who's severe ADD, severely driven, can't be satisfied with building one company, what happens when you put me in a room by myself? I painted all the walls with whiteboard paint and started drawing things on them. Like, I want to create this company. I want to create this company. I'm going to create. So this room that I turned into my dump room is what I called it, a brain dump room, had, you guys know the whiteboard paint, right? Literally was covered. And that was when I built a software company. And that was when it really exploded, because then I was amazed. Any programmers in here? 1 back there? 2 over here. I was amazed at what programmers can do. I don't know anything about programming, but I'd say, look, I want to build something that does this, finds this, pulls this, finds that. Can you build that? Yeah. Like I had found my perfect partner in life. It was programmers. Because it's easy. Because here's why. Because when you go into real estate and you have to do all the research, how many of you have caught on to how much research has to be done in real estate? That's a lot of legwork, right? Or what about when it comes time to find leads? How much work it takes to get those leads and go find them and get your direct mail out there and go scour the internet for all this stuff, right? It's time consuming. Well, it's actually not. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to demyth that for you. So here's what I call the big secret, an automated lifestyle investing. You can do this without ever leaving your home. Who likes that idea? How many of you like to get deals without even talking to a seller? Y'all are like, say it ain't so. Yeah, what's he talking about up there? How many of you think that you can get deals without talking to a seller? Let me be realistic. Only about 6 of you. I'm going to change that. Who in here has seen me present before? Am I about to change their idea on that one? I really am, ain't I? Y'all are going to be blown away on this one. All right, you only need about 15 minutes a day to get red hot deals out of your market. Who can give me 15 minutes a day? Let me ask that question. If you can't give me 15 minutes a day, you need to give me 15 minutes a day. Does that make sense? Because if your day is completely consumed and you can't spit up 15 minutes, you got bigger problems than we can do. And there's 4 quick ways to profit on these deals. 5 for you guys because you can fund them, right? So you guys got 5. I focus on 4 and I focus on the 5th, but most people aren't at the level that you are. So this is good for you. What if I could show you a way to not worry about all the moving parts of the real estate business and still get paid? I got a taker, 1. Hey, listen, be an action taker. Take that, Abby. All right? So I know I'm making this really too easy for you, ain't I? And we all go, oh, it can't be that easy. Listen, if you don't think it's that easy, I'll make you work for it. How's that sound? So, and look, a way to get all the deals you ever wanted, a system that would contract these deals risk-free for you. How many's with me now? Am I getting a little closer now? All right. And have my team review all your deals for you. And the best part is then we would find a buyer if you didn't want it and put the deal together. And watch this one. And you can start making $30,000, $60,000 next 30 to 60 days. Would that interest anybody? You like that? Who's with me now? Listen, all my friends call me a lazy investor. And I said, listen, I just figured out a way to make money and not do any work. How many of you guys are with me now? I got a bus outside. You guys ready to go? Yeah. All right, listen. Life can be so easy if you just work with us. And I say us as me and my team. You guys like that? All right, let's dig into this a little bit. Here's what we're going to cover today. The 4-part to the PSA formula, the 6 types of the deals, leads that you can get into deals without even talking to sellers. how we automate the process to this with that 15 minutes. Also, how to get all the REOs you'll ever want without ever talking to an agent. Oh, am I just, who's liking me right now? I'm telling you, man. It's my charming personality. I just got some things that I can show you, okay? I'll get to you in just a second. And never surf the internet again, but still have all the seller and buyer leads get pulled off the internet in your inbox for you. Right? Listen, let me tell you something. I hate this internet thing. Because if you don't have ADD, it will give it to you. It's like, ooh, shiny object. Click, click, click. So imagine someone with ADD. Listen, next thing you know, you log on the internet, you start looking for properties. 4 hours later, you get spit out of this coma, and you're like, what did I just buy? And you don't even realize where you've been or what's happened. The internet is designed to suck you in and hold you there. Right? So it was doing this to my staff. And I'd go in there and I'd see them like watching videos on YouTube and Reddit and all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Jack, I swear, I just clicked this button, it popped up. And I'm like, you're supposed to be working. What's me, man? It was a property, I swear. So I had to figure out a way to remove that distraction to get more productivity out of my workforce, right? So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then the profit center. So a little bit about me. I won't bore you to death with this too much. I'm from Alabama. Yay. There you go. you liking me now, right? She's like, as long as you're not an Alabama Auburn fan, I like you. So, but I grew up in a little bitty town in Alabama. Let me ask anybody here know where Bluntsville, Alabama is? Huntsville? No, that's where I live, Huntsville. Well, I actually live in Madison, but I live in, it's called Bluntsville. When I lived there, they had a stop sign. They got a red light now. I think they got internet there now too, but anyways, it's a little bitty town, population 1,200 people. Yeah, really small town, dirt roads, things like that. I grew up there with a single mother and a brother. My brother's passed now, bless his soul. But my mother never was taught how to go out and leave a legacy. Big difference, right? She was taught how to go out and pay for your bills this month. Understand that? Big difference, right? She was never understood what's called financial literacy. Big difference. Study financial literacy and you'll learn how to leave legacies, okay? Most people are taught with educational literacy and then they get into professional literacy. Professional literacy is you learn how to open your own business, things like that. Financial literacy teaches you how money works and how to maximize money, how to take $1 and turn it into 1,000 in a month or something. So, but bless her heart, she said to me, son, I can't give you anything other than love and a good whipping on the rear end. And I said, bless your soul. And I got lots of them. Today, they'd probably call, what's the company for kids out there? DS? UPS? CPS. Okay. Listen, if I would have told my mom I'm calling CPS, she would have said, well, call them and I'm going to whip you till they get here. That's my mom for you, though, right? She a hard, loving woman. Bless her heart. God-fearing woman, too. She's at my house right now with my kids. I'm headed back right after this. But she just also did one thing that I think altered the course of my life. And that was she said, Zach, life is your choice. It's your choice. You choose to be here or you choose to be here. And you choose the journey you're going to go on. And she said, and don't come whining to me when it gets hard. Because it's your choice. And that was tough. Now, I'll never forget this. My mother also was real quick to break my plate and tell me to get out of the house, too. She said, I'm tired of feeding you. I ate a lot. But, no. Hey, I'm down 37 pounds, Ray. You better watch out. I'm down, man. I'm working on it. I started CrossFit. I went 3 days and had to take a week off. I was like, man, they're going to kill me in here. I'm like, you guys can't see, I'm like puking over here. Do another burpee. A burpee, I'm burping it up already. So So the point is my mother didn't have much to offer, but she had love and she instilled choice in me. So if you guys get that, that's all you need to do to get out there and make it happen. So when she said choice, I used to watch this movie all the time. It was about this guy that traveled around flipping bottles, becoming a bartender in exotic locations. It was like one of the best movies ever. Kokomo. Tom Cruise Cocktails. That's right. That's the closest I'm ever going to get to Tom Cruise, you know. But it was what I want. So I did. I moved to a place called Panama City Beach, Florida. Anybody know where that is? Yeah. Redneck Riviera, right? And I worked at a club there called Spinnakers. Anybody know that? Yeah? Oh, he's like... And I became a bartender there. Like, got really into bartending, called trick barmanship. Got into contests. I could spin and do all that fun stuff. I was living my dream. 7 years later, I woke up and realized I was no further than when I started 7 years ago. But along that journey, one of the gentlemen that owned a restaurant that I was also working at, his name was Lad Penfold. He was the very first mentor I ever had in my life. And he said to me, Zach, real estate will make you a millionaire. And I said, but I don't have any money and I don't have credit, you know, and all this stuff. And he said, no. He said, there's lots of ways to get into real estate. You just got to educate yourself. And he said, California is where the gold mine is. Now, you know, we got to go back many years when California was like, you buy a house, sell it in a year, you make $100,000, right? And so I decided that would be something I wanted to do, but I kind of forgot about it and was living the life. Now, right about this time, you know, my brother passed away in a car wreck. I didn't handle it very well. I was a bartender, so what did I lean to? Alcohol. Found myself at the end of a bottle every single night. And really, I'm not saying that, I mean, we all handle tragedy different ways, right? I have learned that that was not the right way. But, I mean, when you're 21 years old, you don't know any difference. And I just remember one day Lad came to me, a mentor of mine, a guy that I admired highly, and he said, you can't work here anymore. I said, why? He said, because you're an alcoholic. He's like, you're fired. That was a gut blow to me. That put me at the lowest of my lows at that point in my life. And so what did I do? Well, I only had one option, and that was to move back home. I moved into this little duplex. Now, this is 12 years ago, guys. I lived in this side. It was in a drug-ridden community. The guy said, if you clean it out, I'll let you rent it for $125 a month. Now, I didn't realize what clean it out meant, but it was bad. Feces, syringes, drug baggies. I mean, it was bad. I spent 3 months cleaning this place out, and I moved into it. And this was where I had hit rock bottom in my life. I remember I called my mom, and it was a bad call. I was like, Mom, look, my life it's shot. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. And she started laughing at me. And I'll never forget this. I was like, Mom, are you drinking? Like, why are you laughing at me like I'm spilling my soul to you right now? She said, son, you should be thankful right now. And I said, why? She said, because you only got one way to go. You're on bottom. And I thought, well, that's a good point, Mom. I was like, love you too, click. But it resonated with me, right? And this was where I knew I had to make a choice. So I did. I left, and I went to California. I could write a country song about this. I got my truck. I still own that same truck that I had 12 years ago. I won't sell it. I refuse to sell it. I don't drive it, but it sits in the back, and I look at it every day and say, that's the truck that got me started. And I put my dog in the shotgun and everything I owned in the back of that truck, and I drove to California. I drove 3 days, no radio. I just thought. And I remember I had a lot of moments. Like, is that my time? Oh, singing me a country song right there. I was like, is that like, am I done? It's like the Emmy Awards, you know what I mean? They start playing music when you're talking too much. So anyway, so fast forward 12 years. I need to update those. I'm a licensed California financial lender. I own an investment company for over 12 years, a wholesaling company. I'm also the president of the Northern Alabama Real Estate Investors Association. So I'm in it every single month, right? I got over 1,500 members. I teach them, I work with them, I do deals with them. So guys, I'm in this business. I'm in it. I invest in 7 different states across the United States. I own real estate from California to Texas to Florida to Tennessee to Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. I have I have properties in Austin. I mean, I'm in it. I'm in it. And the reason I say this to you is because what I'm going to share with you is important, and I'm a marketing and segmenting expert. I've also been called to speak on ESPN radio over and over again. I'm actually speaking again on there next week about real estate and what the markets are doing and how the market segmentation is and so forth. And for a guy who dropped out of high school and couldn't spell, I got a best-selling book out on the market. How about that? It's amazing what can happen, right? Now, I'm not going to take all the credit because there's this thing called a ghostwriter. And if I would have figured out what a ghostwriter was in high school, I'd have probably stayed in. I'd have paid her. It's up here. I just couldn't get it on paper, right? So anyways, so this is where it started for me, a place called Vallejo, California. Anybody know where that is? Oh, one of you. Great. Are you from there? Oh, then you know exactly where it is. You know where it is? I know where it is. Okay. So I started in Vallejo. I went to my very first 3-day awakening, is what I call one of these things. Went for 3 days, got awakened, realized what I could do. And this is where it started for me. Now, my business skyrocketed. And why? Because I figured out something called leverage very quickly. And I'd figured this out when I was a kid, too, because I used to mow the yards in the trailer park. And I would charge $6 for each yard I mowed, and I would pay my buddy $2 to go mow them. Capitalism, right? At its finest. And then the other reason I learned, I've been doing this all my life. I used to take my lunch money, and how many of you have done this? Take my lunch money on the way to school, buy all the bubble gum I could, and then go to school. I'm paying 10 cents for it, and I'd sell it for 25 to 50 cents at school. Right? Hey, it was supply and demand. They couldn't get it. But it's how I paid for my football tickets to go to the game every Friday night, right? I mean, you just find ways. Here's the way I know. There's 2 types of people out there, right? There's the people who sit back and complain, and then there's the people that what? Figure out a way to do it, right? So my business took off. I started going down to the local RIAs and recruiting people that were there that were trying to learn the business and said, hey, come work with me. I'll teach you everything I know, and I'll split the deals with you. So the next thing you know, I had one of the bedrooms in my house cleaned out. I had lawn chair furniture in there. I had those VoIP back when Tomato Vine was like the #1 VoIP system. I had VoIP phones in there and had people in there calling. And then, man, I had more people coming over. So I cleaned out another bedroom. Then I cleaned out another bedroom. I had like 12 people working out of my house until the HOA started fining me for all the cars out front, which I'm not a big fan of HOA, by the way. But here's the sad part. This is what it ended up being for me, right? Overworked. Because there's so much coming in, and when you don't have systems in place, you're just like, what do I do first? What do I do second? What's next? Like, where do I go with this stuff? So I started studying franchises. This was like my big aha moment. And I went and studied all these franchises and started realizing some of the things they had in common, and what made them a franchise wasn't the fact they had a good idea, right? I mean, because McDonald's and Burger King both make burgers, don't they? I mean, it's all processed food that'll make you fat, you know what I mean? So it's not even worth eating if you really think about it. I'm learning that. I'm sharing my knowledge right now that my health coach is beating into me. He's like, it ain't even meat, Zach. I'm like, okay, sorry. So he made me go get a burger from McDonald's and sit it outside for 3 weeks. And it looked the exact same 3 weeks later. It looked the exact same. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyways, I don't need to go on that though. So I found a lot of similarities in what they were doing. It wasn't the product, it was the way they developed the systems in the business to run. You follow me? So that's what I had a light bulb moment. That's my light bulb, my aha moment, right? It was create the process. Create the process. Write that down. P, process. SOP, standard operating procedures. That, my friends, is what will determine the speed in which you grow. Your SOPs, which is your process. So I spent literally 6 to 8 months writing down all these single SOPs I could figure out on my own for the business I was in. And the reason I did that is because I needed to know what was bottlenecking me and what could be automated and what could be streamlined, what could I outsource. Because if I didn't know that, then I didn't know what to work on. I didn't know what my weaknesses were. You know, you guys know what a SWOT is, right? In a business plan. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and trends. You have to start to learn what that is in any business that we go after to determine the cycle in which that we move forward. So I determined the process. So this was my flow chart. This was the first process I ever created. Now, this process is what allowed me to go on my first 30-day vacation. How many of you like a 30-day vacation in here? Okay, I grant you all to go on one. You're welcome. Listen, the first one's always the best, because you know why? Then you prove to yourself what?
You made it.
That you can do it, right? Now, I try to go on 3 or 4 a year, you know what I mean? But don't laugh at me. But the point is that first one I remember as if it was yesterday. Because why? Because the whole time I'm nervous. I was scared out of my mind. Like, what am I doing going on a 30-day vacation? Like, normal people don't do this. Then I started realizing, well, I'm not normal. Like, I can't be normal if I want to live an extraordinary life. You guys with me on this? But we're so caught up into normal. This ain't normal. No, it's not normal. I don't want to be normal. I'll tell you something a mentor shared with me a long time ago. The moment you feel comfortable and normal, you need to get scared. Because then you're moving right back into the box that everybody lives in. So I knew I had to have seller leads coming in. Yes? I have to have seller leads coming in. This business is dead without them, right? Then I knew if I wanted to take seller leads and turn those into deals, what do I need to do to get a seller lead into a deal? Who knows the answer to that one?
Find a buyer.
No, that's how you sell it. What do you do with the contract?
Get it under contract.
That's right. There you go, Sean. Give him a round of applause. The only way that you will ever get a deal is you got to have the seller sign the contract. People come to me all the time and say, Zach, I got a deal. And I'm like, great. Where'd you get it under contract for? Oh, well, it ain't under contract yet. Well, then, no, you got a prospect. Right? Huge difference, right? Huge difference. So if we want to do deals, then we got to have every seller lead under what? Contract. Do contracts take time? And do we get nervous about them? And do we sit there and go, oh, what if they say yes? There's people who do. Listen, they do. It's a fear, right? What's the fear? The fear is of the unknown. False evidence appearing real, right? The fear is the fact that if they say yes and I can't buy, what's going to happen then? Do you know how many contracts I've put out there and said no to? It's tens of thousands. I'll put it this way. You guys ready for this one? I'm not trying to scare you, and you don't have to go do this. But I've sent out over 6,000 contracts in 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Speed of implementation, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key to success. Okay? Listen, we can all leave here today and say, I'm going to go do this. 5 people. One person decides to do something every single hour of the day except for 6 hours that he or she's going to sleep. The other 4 say, I'll do a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow. Who's going to get there fastest? The person who's implementing the fastest. So if we can take technology and we can take software and we can take the amount of work that it would take 12 people to do in a day and do it in less than 3 minutes, who's going to win the game? The person with the technology. That's right. That's why you're seeing all these young investors who are jumping on the technology wagon coming up out of the woodworks. Back when I started, man, the old timers ran everything. Like they just ran everything. Like trying to break through was impossible. They knew all the people down at the recorder's office. They knew all the, you know what I mean? They knew all the people. It was their circle. They don't have that anymore because technology has changed the game for them, okay? And they have to compete with us now. So, like especially in Alabama, I go to an auction, there's 3 of them there, me and 2 other guys. And at first you thought they would want to be friendly with me, right? I'm a friendly guy. I'd say, hey, Anthony, which one you buying? You know? I'm like, well, go get on your tractor and get out of here then. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like we could work together. You know what I mean? You tell me which ones you're going to buy. I'll tell you which ones I'm going to buy. There's only 3 of us. You know what I mean? There's like nobody else here. But they don't want you there. They don't want you there. And I'll never forget, I was wanting to buy this house, and this guy, Munoz is his last name, and you got to be careful about some of these guys out there. He's the type of guy that'll steal your gum between smacks, you know? He'd be like, where'd my gum go? Like, he's that quick, you know what I mean? He's quick, man. And he goes, every house I buy, and I do about 50 to 60 rehabs a year, not including the wholesales, just the rehabs, just in Huntsville. And he goes by every single one of them and tries to recruit my workers. Every one of them. I go by there and they're like, yeah, he came by. I'm like, well, did he offer me more money? But see, what they don't understand is all my guys get equity share. Whatever we profit, they get a piece of it. And most of them I've bought them trucks. Like, they ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, they with me. Right? I still have the deed or the title to that truck. Right? You can drive it, but if you leave, I'm taking it back. You know what I mean? So what I know is this, is I got to get these leads into deals, and how I need to do that is I've got to make what? I got to make what? And I got to make a lot of what? That's right. And if I'm going to do that and I don't want to work, what do I need to do? I need to automate it. I need to automate it. I need to be able to click buttons and have it done for me. So in return, once I get them under deals, then I got to put them into a profit center. Write 5 down there for you guys, though, because you also have a funding arm. You could get these deals. You could get the funding lined up, Emmanuel, and you could go to Anthony and say, Anthony, I got a deal for you and I got funding for you. Not only would you get paid on the funding, but what else could you get paid on? The wholesale fee. You got me? So that's why it's good for what you guys are doing. You could double dip this all day long and then just cherry pick the ones you want. You got me? So, and then once that's done, you got to automate all the process, the closings, outsource everything. And that's how you streamline an automated lifestyle right there. Now, this is what I put together when I went on my first 30-day vacation. Now, let me say this. That's the process. This is where I went on vacation. Now, this was another life ago. And I had hair back then. So, yes, this is me on here. So that was me 12-ish years ago. That was my partner back then. And this is a place called Mazatlan, Mexico. Anybody ever been there?
The head is sort of in the neutral position.
Has anybody ever stayed at Pueblo Bonito?
Sort of lined up over your shoulder.
It's what they refer to as New Mazatlan.
For some people.
Old Mazatlan kind of scared me. You ride around, you see military trucks with guns riding around, right? New Mazatlan is like all tourists, right? They get you out of the way. But this was my balcony. This was the pool. This guy over here called me Mr. Mai Tai Virgin.
Mobile device like this,
because everything I'm like, Mai Tai Virgin, please.
Over time, you can start
you know what? I hate drinking it too because I always have heartburn from it. But for some reason, when you're in a tropical place, I want that umbrella in a fruity drink for some reason. And I stare at that little umbrella and I go, if I would have invented it.
Just think about this. Just try this with me.
So, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I'll never forget this. The first day I was there, the pool boy came over with some towels. I gave him a $5 tip.
Take a deep breath in.
To
find that the respiratory,
to get me a towel and and to bring a bottle of water up to the room for Christine. And so now he knows my room number. The next morning when I wake up, guess where he is? He's standing at the door. Mr. Childress, can I get you anything today? I'm like, sure, I'll take some breakfast. I gave the guy another $5 tip. This guy followed me around for a whole month around this whole place. Like, I gave him probably $10, $15 a day. I was like, man, I done hired my own sidekick here. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was like, he's like, screw this place. I'm with you. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not thinking about what $5, I'm not thinking that way. But, yeah, so, I'll do that. As soon as I get to a place, first thing I do is find a young guy, and I give him a big tip, and they take care of you the rest of the time. So, but I was down there for 30 days. Now, listen, I was paranoid, scared, losing my mind, heartburn, fevers, my hair fell out, all that good stuff. Because here I'm thinking, like, I built this business, and it's about to all go away, right? Because I'm not doing what normal people do. I decided to go blow all my money and go to vacation. But while I was down here, 2 weeks into it, yes, I'm running over to the internet cafe and checking email, right? Because I'm nervous. I get an email from my VA that says, Mr. Childress, we've got a deal under contract. I've sent it out to your buyers list. We have 2 buyers that are interested in buying it. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is actually working. And so I emailed her back and I said, follow the manual, get everything over to what's called as a VCC. Write that down. Virtual Closing Coordinator. And they're based here in America. There's one here in Texas, one in California. There's lots of them all around. Virtual Closing Coordinator. We were using a company called Pro TMC at the time. And I was telling my VA, I was like, get everything over to Sheila and I'll check back in. Well, now, I'm checking what?
Emails.
I'm checking every 30 minutes to an hour. No wonder I was so skinny. I'm running up these stairs, running back down, running. We'd be by the pool and I'd be like, Christine, you need some water? I'd run and get the water, run to the internet cafe, come back. Here's your water. Okay. I'd hang out for a little bit. Be like, you want some fruit? Let me go get you some fruit. I'd come back. I'd be like, you need some lotion? Let me go get you some lotion. I was just every reason I could find to go check this internet. It took about 7 days later, but the VCC company, Shirley, emails me and says, Mr. Childress, when you get home from vacation, you'll have a check in the mail for $27,316.86. How many of you like that? That, my friends, was when I realized I wasn't normal anymore. Right? That was when I realized that this whole lifestyle of you got to go see it, touch it, smell it, breathe it, all this stuff was actually irrelevant to the lifestyle I wanted to live. This was when I realized that with the right systems and processes, you can live a life where you don't have to be demanded to be in an office all day. So I'll never forget, I ran down to the beach, which was over here. I'll show you. It was like that. They had these little cabana huts on the beach. She was getting a massage down there. And I busted through this cabana hut, and I was like, Christine, you'll never believe this. She goes, shh. I go, you'll never believe this. We just made $27,000 on vacation. She goes, have you been working? I was like, no. She goes, good. There's a diamond district downtown. So the moral of that story is it's easy to make it. It's hard to keep it. So another light bulb went off. This was, don't tell anybody you're making money. No, it was share the information. That was the other one. Because the more people I could get this in front of, the more opportunities I would have. You follow me on this? Because I'm a believer that life is an abundant world. It's abundant. It is so abundant. And the moment that you start to think it's not abundant, guess what happens in your life? It's not abundant anymore. Everybody you attract has a scarcity mindset. Everybody you associate with feels like you're trying to take something from them. It's just the way it works. One of my mentors early on always told me, don't tell anybody what you know. Don't tell anybody what you know. And I struggled for 3 months with him. I kicked him to the curb. The next guy I brought in was like, tell everybody. Have them all bring you deals. Have them all. And man, my business flourished. Night and day. You follow me? Night and day. So I did. So I said, well, I could help others put the same system together and do deals with them. What did I just say there? With them. Write that one down, because that's my big purpose for being here today. I got all kinds of cool stuff, but I have a bigger reason to be here. You guys with me on this? Who said yes? I like that pronounced. Yes? Yes. Say it loud for him.
Yes!
Give him a round of applause. Listen, you guys, I'm going to tell you what. Imagine spending 3 days with me. Oh, yeah. Whew. I'll wear you out. I don't take breaks. I go from 7 in the morning till 8, 9 at night. Only break we get is lunch.
Let's do it.
I don't take breaks. Here's why. I got 3 days. If I'm going to take 3 days away from my kids to come teach you, I'm not going to waste time. You know what I mean? Let's get it done. So, all right. So I started teaching the 4 parts to the flow chart. I started sharing that with people, teaching it. And I've been teaching it now going on 7 years and with massive amounts of success, not only with students, but with our business as well. And I'll get to how we succeed from it more than anything. Not that you can't, but it's just much bigger for us because, instead of having one market doing deals in, we can have a plethora of markets that we can do deals in. So the 6 lead types we cover, how to contract properties with automation, the 4 ways of setup, and I'm going to break these down for you a little bit too. I started offering partnering on deals. That was the biggest thing I started doing. I said, hey, look, if you're my student, what's the hardest thing and what's your biggest fear? Most of them came back and said, my fear is sending offers. Because what if they accept it and I can't do anything with it? I said, well, what if I'll sell it for you? Or if I don't sell it, what if I buy it from you? You think it made them easier to make offers then? Yeah. I got, guys, listen to this. Write this down. I have 582,000 buyers in my database. From Australia to Singapore to New Zealand to Canada, East Coast, West Coast. I mean, they're all over the place. I sell fourplexes that I pick up for $60,000 to an Australian buyer group for $140,000 on a flip that I do through a text. That's how I sell it to them.
And they're thrilled.
And they're happy. I send them a text and say, hey, I got a brick fourplex for you, rents for $550 a door. You can have it for $140. They're like, we'll take it. I send all their information to the title company and the VCC, and guess who handles everything? I don't deal with anything. I'm out. You like that? Listen, did that happen for me overnight? No way it didn't. No way, man. Not at all. So I started reviewing our students' deals because what was the one thing they were afraid? That they were in a bad deal, right? So we started saying, well, look, we'll figure it out for you because if we're going to help you sell it or we're going to buy it, you think we need to review it? Yeah. So we took our investment division and we cut out a corner of it just for student acquisition deals. So is that a little helpful? Yeah. How many of you like that idea? Yeah, that's only 4 of you? I'm losing my momentum here.
They didn't understand your question.
Maybe they didn't. That's good for the ones of you who did. This creates a what? Win-win situation, okay? And then we started connecting them with funding, which you guys don't need to worry about that because you obviously have funding that you need. One of the funding sources that we use a lot is the lease funding source when we're working with students outside of markets we're not comfortable with, right? Because he knows all markets, except for my local market. Here's Daryl Jones. I want to introduce you. Anybody in here know Daryl Jones, by the way? Kind of popular guy down in Florida. So Daryl Jones went to one of my 3-day events. I'll never forget this. He comes up to me at the end of the 3-day event and he said, Zach, I want to introduce myself to you. Well, I'm thinking, I paid my taxes, so I wonder what this is, right? He's like, no, I've made a joke about it. He was like, no. He's like, I've sat here for, this was when we used to do 4 days. Yeah, that was a while back, though. Then my kids started growing up, and I didn't want to be away from them for that long. So he sat for 4 days, and he comes up and he says, I just want you to know who I am. And I was like, okay. Well, he started sharing me. He was an officer in the military, retired officer from the military. When he retired from the military, he became a politician for the state of Florida. Served as a politician for the state of Florida and helped write most of the short sale laws in the state of Florida and what investors could do and couldn't do. Anybody familiar with the Investor Coalition? That's our lobbyist group in Washington, D.C. So he helped, kind of backbone a lot of that going forward. So then when he left from being a politician for the state of Florida, he became an attorney for the state of Florida under real estate. And so he does closings. He's still an investor. Well, at this point, I didn't know if I should salute him, get his autograph, or shake his hand, right? Like I'm thinking, man, what are you doing in my event? I mean, here's what he said. He said, Zach, you're a person that knows what's going on in the industry. You stay ahead of the power curve. You're absolutely amazing. I recommend you to anyone that's in real estate industry and is serious about getting things done. I share that with you not to impress you, but to impress upon you that if you're brand new, I've got you. If you're seasoned, just drop your guard a little bit. Because a lot of times seasoned people think they know everything. They think, oh, I've been doing this long enough that there's nothing you can teach me and there's nothing you can show me. Like, I'm still living the same life I've lived for 15 years, so why would I learn from you? Anybody catch that one, right? But that's their mentality, but not all are that way. But I've ran into a lot of people that have lived the same broke life and been doing real estate for 20, 30 years, but yet they won't stop and try to change something. So it's like, listen, if you can't help people who what? Don't want to be helped, right? You can't. So I'm just sharing this with you to try to say, listen, just be open to the concept of new things, technology, okay? Be open to it. So here's a pretty cool little deal I got out in California. It was a duplex. Never saw it, never went in and smelled it or anything. The seller called us up and said, we'll take your offer. I was like, awesome. Original price was $425. I knew there was landlord investors in this area. Now, I wholesale a little bit different than what people normally talk about. I wholesale to landlords who get financing, and I get paid out of escrow. I know we've always been taught that wholesaling, you have to have what? A cash buyer. That's BS. That's absolutely false. They're just, all that is regurgitated information that's being taught into the market because that's what they learned and they're regurgitating it. I sell to cash buyers. I even wholesale to finance buyers. I don't close on it. I put it under contract, use a specific document that I had an attorney help me create years ago, and then I let it go into escrow with the new buyer who's getting financing, and I show up on HUD and get paid out of escrow. How many of you like that? Yeah. That's the reason I don't worry about these guys that come through and teach 100 people how to go wholesale in my market, because they're not my competition. You follow me? Because I'm doing something they don't know how to do. I do love it, though, because I always run an ad when I see a big seminar company come through that says, must sell, need to sell, blah, 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 because what are they taught to do? Call those ads. So when they call me, I go, yeah, well, listen, just go get inventory and bring it to me. So I turn them all into my marketing bird dogs. Right? I just create a whole herd of bird dogs out there for me. So anyways, I got this for $195. I sold this in 3 weeks for $225 to a landlord investor in the market and put $30,000 in my pocket in 3 weeks. Yeah. Do you guys understand the average person in America will work 2,080 hours a year to make just a little bit above this? You guys understand that? I probably put in 30 hours for $30,000. So when you calculate that, who's worth $1,000 an hour? You are. You all are. You can do this too, okay? So let's dig into this. Here's my 4 steps I'm going to break down one. Find motivated sellers. You got to go after REOs, right? Now, how many of you have gone after REOs and just didn't have much success, or the agent wasn't that friendly with you? Yeah, that's pretty much the problem we have out there, right? Well, I did too. The challenge with this is are there still deals in the REO world? Yes. There are. It's just they're usually consumed by a small group. Let me explain this to you. It's called a pocket listing. How many of you understand what a pocket listing is? Who doesn't know what a pocket listing is? A pocket listing is when an agent gets a listing from Angel, right? Yes, sir. Gets a listing from Angel, and before that I put that listing on the market, I call you, Mark. And I say, hey, Mark, I got this deal. I got to put it on the MLS tomorrow unless you want to buy it right now. You with me now? Yes, so that's a pocket listing. Listen, in your market, you have 2 types of REO agents. You have what's called the big REO listing agent, and then you have all the other ones. The well broker, the REO well broker, usually lists anywhere from 60 to 80% of all the REOs that come into that market. The rest of them get spread out amongst other agents. Let me explain this to you. That well broker has a pocket full of investors that they call and sell these deals to before you even see them. How do I know that? Because it happens to me every single week. Every single week, the lady who lists 80% of all the REOs in the Madison County market, which is Huntsville, Madison, Hazeltine Green, everything, sends me an Excel spreadsheet with 30 to 40 deals and says, look, you got 48 hours to tell me which ones you want to buy. Because then guess what? Then all the rest of them go on the MLS for everybody else to fight over, right? So let me explain something to you. If we know that's going on, and if you don't think it's going on, you're living in a world where your head's in a hole, okay? If we know that's going on and we have to compete against that, do we need to find a way around that? Yes. We absolutely do. So I found a way around it. So I have, with a partner, developed a piece of technology. Imagine this. Imagine you had a piece of software that you could literally say, I want to buy every single REO, well, not buy, but show me every single REO that's in this city, in this county, in this state, that's between $100,000 and $200,000, and that's already at about a 65% discount. And you could say search, and it would literally go out to every one of the bank's inventories, yank all their inventory out of their inventory list, and put it all into an inbox for you. How many of you like that? What do my friends call me? A lazy investor. Guys, Where there's a will, there's a way. And when you own a software company, guess what? Things change. Things change. My life got so much. It's the best investment I ever made. What's so funny is I bought that software company from a guy who wanted to move to Colombia. I gave him $50,000, and I've done probably $40 million with that company since. Was that a good company to buy? That was a real good company to buy, right?
I have one question.
Oh, what is it?
Which is, isn't true that the banks, they keep these REOs file? They don't show it to anyone.
They have a file, but they have to. What happens is all banks, once they get an inventory that's released, right? Because they could have 10,000 properties, but then get approved to release 2,000 of them, right?
Okay.
Those 2,000 go into what's called an asset management list.
Okay.
That's what we can see. We have stuff. So that's one of them that we were able to figure a way around them. The other one was for sale by. I'm not advocating forsaleby.com. I just put it up there to give you an image. But are there a lot of sellers online? There's tons of them. For sale by owner sites, Craigslist, Kijiji, Backpage, Vast, Hotpad, Loop. I mean, they're everywhere, right? There's hundreds of these sites. The problem is, how many of you actually have the time to go look at every one of these sites every single day and search and search and search? What's the one thing you can't get back? I'm working on a machine for that, though. I want to go back a little bit. Just a couple. If I could just go back about 5 years knowing what I know now, I'd be really happy. I'd bet on some football games. No. So this is where I got frustrated because my staff was being consumed by this. So imagine this. Imagine you had another piece of technology that you just turned it on. You set it up. You never had to pay it. You never had to feed it. You never had to worry about it coming in late or calling in sick or calling you because their girlfriend broke up with them or whatever. It just ran. You with me? And it would go out all over the internet, and every single day it would pull seller leads out of the internet and it would pull buyer leads out of the internet in your market, and all you had to do is call the seller and call the buyer and put the deals together.
Wow.
Is that speed of implementation?
Yeah.
It's a game changer, right? How many of you are with me right now? How many of you are really with me right now? Okay, good. So then we have sellers that can't sell, high liability properties, secret listings, and hidden HUD deals. This is something that we definitely cover. I just don't have a lot of time today to cover it, but it takes me 3 days to get through marketing. I cover 50, 60, 73 different ways of marketing. There's lots of them out there. Most of them are free and some are paid. But the idea is you have to know that if you want to be successful in this business, write it down, you have to be a lead machine. You got to be a lead machine. You got to just constantly be bringing leads in and then converting those leads to deals. And if you have technology that'll bring the leads in, and then you got technology that'll convert those leads into deals, then what are you doing? Pushing buttons. I like that, Alan. I haven't seen you in 3 years, something like that. It's been a while, man. It's good to see you here, though. But remember, all the training does you no good if what? If you don't make offers, it does you no good. Listen, you can study and study and study and study and study and study, study and study and study and study and study and study and study. But if you don't implement it, guess what? You're going to be in the same place you was before you started the studying. Listen, the universe doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you do with what you know. You guys with me on that one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So I want you to really think about that. You got to find a way to get it done. There's a quote out there. Hopefully I'll say it right today. I was trying to say it to my daughter the other day. I got it all wrong. But it says, if you can't fly, you run. If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl. If you can't crawl, you find any way possible to move forward at all cost. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? So the point is this, is that you've got to stop thinking about what you don't have, and you've got to start thinking about what you're going to do to get there, right? So this is where the system comes in. Write it down. Systemize. P-S. Systemize. You got to design the process, and then you have to systemize the process. which means you got to look at every process that you've created and start designing systems around those processes, technology, automation, tools around those processes. Because if you can create a process plus a system, then that equals what? Does money start with A, guy? No. I'm just seeing who's... Does that start with an A? No? Process. If you systemize the process, P plus S equals A. Who said it? Automation. There you go. Just catch that one. Somebody over here said it too. Who was it that said it over here? Was that you? There you go. Watch out. I got a little curve on him there. I knew it's going to curve right when it got to you. You know what? One day I was doing one of these seminars. I was talking to a couple of thousand people. And there was a guy in the back giving me all kinds of love. So I tried to throw one back there to him. Well, it made it almost. And the guy sitting next to him was taking notes. And it just cut top of his ear off. I mean, it was the loose skin. You know what I mean? But I felt so bad. I walked out when it was over. I go outside. He's got this bloody rag up his ear. I was like, man, I'm sorry. Here's my phone number. I'm like, if you got to go get stitches or plastic surgery, call me. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. He's like, no. He's like, I just want to work with you. I'm like, all right, we can work that out. So anyways, you got to systemize it. Here's Rick. He did that. I'm going to shorten this up. He was trying to get into investing. He looked at other systems. He said he came back to ours. He said, the software has revolutionized my business with your system and your partnership program. I was able to get my first deal done in under 60 days. I just put $9,000 in the bank. You're helping more people you know. Listen, what does that say right there? So if he made $9,000, how much do you think I made? $9,000. That's right.
So is it equal partnership?
Listen, I'm all about equality, okay? If you bring the deal to me and I bring the buyer to the deal, is that half the deal? Yeah. Right. So if we make $20,000, I cut you a check for 10, and I take 10. Are you fair with that? Are you going to keep bringing them to me? You all say that. Listen, I've been doing this way too long. You don't keep bringing them to me. You do it in the beginning until you build up money, and then you start building your own buyers list, and then you're like, why am I going to give him half? I got my own buyers now.
So buyers list you are getting from your system. So
we recruit buyers all the time. So I'm just making a joke there. Everybody always says, I'll keep bringing them to you. And I'm like, yeah. It don't really work that way. There's a few that do it, like Rick. Rick told me, he goes, man, this is great. All I got to do is find sellers. You got all the buyers. I said, yeah. So Rick, he actually keeps doing it. But very few actually work that relationship with us. Usually what happens is you'll make money. You'll get building up your money. You'll build your buyers list. And then you'll start selling your own deals to your own buyers, and you keep 100% of it. You guys with me on that? And that's typically how it works. So very, very rarely does someone just keep sending us deals year after year after year because they've already built their business. So part 2, turning leads into deals. Most investors do this all wrong. They want to look at every deal first. That's their thing. Let me go look at it. Then they want to go run the numbers and hope that deal is still there. You with me? So now they've gone and looked at it. Then they went and had lunch and then went home and watched their TV shows, slept in the next day, decided to get up. Oh, well, let's make an offer on that property. Well, let's run the numbers first. So now it's Sunday, and then they got to go to church. Then Monday rolls around. They got to get up and go where? Work. Then they say, well, I'll get to it Monday night. Then they research it Monday night, and they're like, yeah, this looks like a good deal. Let me make an offer. Then Tuesday rolls around, and by Wednesday, they finally do what? Make an offer. Guess what I did before I even went and saw the house? I made an offer on that one and 500 more. You understand? Yeah. And so by the time they come back, guess what? It's gone. It is gone. You follow me? This is a huge time waster. I'm telling you, it's a time waster because here's why. For me in my world, I'm all about efficiency and I'm all about making money the fastest way possible. Anybody with me on that? Yeah, that's all I care about. How can I make it the fastest and still spend time with my family? So I learned a long time ago that if I go out and look at 100 houses, I might get 2 of them. Right? I might get 2 of them. So why would I spend all that time looking at 100 houses? I would just rather make 100 offers and then get 2 or 3 of them back, and then go look at the ones that countered me or accepted my offer. You with me? I like to look at the low-lying fruit. Now, will I go back to those other properties later? Yeah, if I run out of inventory, then I'll go back and I'll say, okay, well, that one looks like one, I'll go look at it. But that's not really a reality if you know how many different ways there are to do marketing. You have to make a lot of offers. You have to follow up on your offers. That's where people make a huge mistake right there, is the follow-up. They don't do it. There's more money made in the follow-up than anywhere else. You need a detailed cover letter. Don't just send an offer. Please write that down. If you just send an offer with an offer in it, you're just like everybody else. You're normal. Are we normal? No, we're not normal. So you need to create cover letters for every single offer that details who you are, what you do, why you're buying that property at that price. The reason your offer is at that price. The reason is because of this. The taxes, insurance, mortgage, maintenance, all this is going to cost me this. And I'm going to rent it for this. You need to build your case in that cover letter. You with me? Because the better you build your case, the better you justify your offer. For instance, if I submit an offer and someone else submits the same exact offer, but my offer comes with a cover letter explaining who I am, what I do, why I'm justifying my offer, and has a simple PS that says, I'd be interested in buying more properties from you at any given time. If you get any that need to be closed quickly for cash, please call me. Am I not only making an offer, but also building a relationship? I am. Who do you think they're going to want to call back and do business with? That's right. And a lot of them just call me back to say, hey, look, I can't sell this one to you at this price, but now I've got your information. I'll keep you in mind. I did my job, right? I'm building bird dogs. I'm building marketing streams, okay? And you just don't have time to do all this, right? Because here's why. How many of you understand where's more money made at? I just said it 2 minutes ago. And the follow-ups. There's more money made in the follow-ups than anywhere else. So let's go through this, Rashad. Were you with me? How you say it? Rashid? Yes. So go follow me through this, Rashid. All right, you're going to make 200 offers this month, okay? You go with that?
Sure.
You're going to handwrite them all.
Okay.
Okay? And in 14 days, after you make the first batch of offers, you got to rewrite all those offers and send out new offers and just raise the price by 1 or 2%, right? We just want to stay in their face, okay?
Okay.
So every 14 days, you got to remember to follow up on the first batch, right? And then every 30 days, you got to send a new batch. You with me?
That's right.
So here we go. First 30 days, you set up 200 offers. You got to write 200 contracts. You got to write 200 cover letters. In 14 days, you got to follow up with those 200 offers. It's 200 contracts, 200 cover letters. 14 more days, you got to rewrite another follow-up sequence of 200 contracts, 200 cover letters, plus what? Send out 200 more offers. And so in 14 more days, you got to follow up with what? The 200 from batch 1, 200 contracts, 200 cover letters, plus the 200 second batch cover letters, contracts. In 14 more days, you got to follow up on batch 1, batch 2, plus what? Send out another 2. You guys with me now? You understand why you guys don't do this? Because you're like, well, that's work. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I got to keep up with all this? Like, that's why you don't do it. That's why I didn't do it. In my office in California, I hired 2 girls, paid them $35,000 a year, 2 of them, to manage that process. I spent $70,000 a year to manage the process of making offers in my office. Why would I spend $70,000 a year? Because I was making way much more than $70,000 a year by making offers, but following up because they had to manage all the follow-up process, okay? That's why I say you don't have time for this. And this is why so many people fail when it comes to being successful at acquiring deals. And your life looks like this at the end of it. So, all right? So we got to systemize that, don't we? We know it's a process that we need, but now we got to systemize that. How do we systemize? Put technology in place, put systems in place, put automation in place, okay? Here's a 3-house package that I got from a follow-up campaign. Now, here's the thing. I didn't see these neither. You know, people always say, well, Zach, what are you talking about? You don't see them. I don't care to see them. All I care is can I close on them. That's it. Because as a wholesaler, am I buying it? No. Do I care how it smells, how it looks, or any of that? Because let me tell you this. If you tell your investor that your rehab cost is $10,000 as a wholesaler, do you think they believe you?
No.
Not at all. You know, so why would you tell them? Just tell them go look at it. Listen, anytime wholesalers bring me deals and say rehab's $20,000, I look over at my crew and I go, it's probably $35,000. Why? Because they want it to what? Look like a good deal, right? So on the third offer, this is funny. The agent calls to my office and says, now at this time I was answering my own phones. This was back in the beginning, But I answered the phone and the agent said, is this Mr. Childress with Landmark? And I said, yes, it is. And she goes, well, we're willing to accept your new offer. I go, great. What's the property address? She said, you just sent me the offer. I said, well, great. What's the property address? She says, sir, literally, you just sent me the offer in my email. Now, you got to understand something. We have this machine. So imagine this big funnel, right? If we just throw leads into the top of it, and it's got an engine that just cranks through these leads and just spits out contracts that have been accepted by sellers. You follow me? I don't know what's going in there. All I know is what's coming out, right? Because that's all I care about. And I'm like, ma'am, that's great, but could you tell me like the street number and address so I know how to look it up? She goes, Mr. Childress, I literally just got your email 5 minutes ago. I'm like, well, 5 minutes is a long time in my world. And so she wasn't taking that too lightly. And I said, well, listen, can you just tell me how many vowels are in it? Can I get an A? Can I get an O? Is there a T in it? You know what I mean? Like, help me out. Let's play hangman or something. You know what I mean? Like, how many spaces are there? So eventually she gives me the address. I pull it up in the system. I'm like, yes, I remember this one now. It was a 3-house package. I did this deal in 4 weeks. Look at this, guys. $79,459 in 4 weeks. Now, how many of you in here were okay with $10,000 a week? How many of you are okay with $20,000 a week? That's a game changer, right? Because I did that in 4 weeks. I put that deal under contract, found a landlord investor who was willing to buy it. It took them a month to get their funds together. I got paid out of escrow, $79,459. Does that change the game?
Absolutely.
How many of you could leave your job right now for a check like that? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you understand the average American who makes $80,000 a year could live just fine. Now, some people go, oh, please. Like, I couldn't live on $80,000 a year. Well, let me tell you something. If you got rid of the things you couldn't afford, you could. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Reality check, you know what I mean? I was taught if you can't buy it, don't get it, right? Which I didn't listen to that, but I'm glad I didn't. Because you got to leverage sometimes in life to get ahead, right? And I leveraged a lot. So here's Bo out of Georgia. I'll shorten it up. He was a rehabber. He got our system. In 60 days, he had done a deal. He made $18,000 from flipping houses. Now, here's the funny thing. He told me the business didn't work. I asked him how many offers he was making. He was like about 5 a month. I said, well, if I can change all this for you. And that's how we changed it. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may look at $18,000 and don't think that's a lot. Well, we're not in California, though, are we? So, but $18,000, some of you may not think it's a lot. He was making like just under $20,000 a year swinging a hammer as a framer. Is that a lot to him? That's a lot to him. So number 3 is your 4-way profit center. The first is traditional wholesaling, which you guys probably know enough about to be dangerous with it. But here's where the rubber hits the road. Let's look at this. Ladies in the room, that's you. Sorry, guys. Am I sweating up here? Thank you, man. Appreciate you. You guys are wearing me out up here. So ladies in the room, you're going to be my buyer. You're going to go, you're going to be my wholesaler. So you're going to go make an offer on a property. What am I using to make an offer? Purchase and sales agreement, right? So I get that under contract. Then what am I going to do? Now we're talking traditional wholesaling. So now you got to go find what type of buyer? A cash buyer. Now here's where I step in. I say come to me and let me bring a buyer to the table. And then once my buyer hits the table, we'll put together what's called what? An assignment agreement. You with me? Once that assignment agreement is put together, my buyer will put money on the table and we'll split it. How many of you are okay with that? Good. Because then that buyer goes and closes. Now, how many of you could do that process? Yeah. It's super easy, right? It's super easy. The fear is do you have the buyers, right? Do you have the buyers? Is someone going to tell me if I got a good deal? You know, these are all the fears that get created from this. So, but write this down. This is where most people don't have any clue about, and most educators don't even teach the other 5. There are 6 different types of buyers as a wholesaler. You have 6 different ways of wholesaling. I can wholesale a property that literally is worth $100,000 and they owe $98,000 on it. I can wholesale a property to a buyer that can't even get money, that has no money, that has no credit, that doesn't even have cash. The thing is, guys, I've been doing this for 12 years, right? I've been doing it a long time, and I've pushed boundaries. I'm the type that says, ask for forgiveness before permission, you know. So I'm a boundary pusher. But because of that, I have what? I've pushed to find ways to get things done. So you need to know all 6 of those to be a good wholesaler. Number 2 is cash flow, tenant buyers, landlording. This is where we start building cash flow. I remember in California when I first started, I built $36,000 a month in cash flow off of houses I never owned. Never owned one of them. Just controlled them. Controlled them, which is a lot what Lee was talking about earlier. And then landlording. But some of you aren't in the position to buy houses to rent. So if you want cash flow, we got to get into controlling real estate. You with me on this? Control as much as you can. Number 3 is your quick turn, big checks. I love this one because why? I like rehabbing. I got guys that do it. I don't really have to do much with it. I show up at the office. We go through all the rehabs, all the layouts. I'm pretty cut and dry. I make my rehabbing Homer Simpson proof. That's what I say. And I got a 6,000 square foot warehouse. I buy everything in bulk. It's the same paint, same molding, same tile, same floor, same toilet, same lights, same fixtures, same everything. So if I send the crew over to the warehouse and say, get more flooring, they don't go in there and go, wonder which flooring he's talking about. There's only one kind of flooring you can get, right? So it's pretty cut and dry. But I also fix and flip what's called cookie cutter homes. My medium home price in the Madison County area is $147, about the same as you guys have here. I buy houses between $85 and $135. That's where I buy at. That's where I play. 3 2s, 1,500 square feet and larger. That's my world. The reason being is because I can go in, remodel these houses, and they'll look better than the new homes that are out there being put on the market. Because what? We're getting them a lot cheaper. We can still make about $15,000 to $20,000 per house. So last year we booked out 57 of them last year. So they're there. You know, you got to have a machine to run that many projects, but I mean, it can be done. And the other one, number 4, Profit Center, is your partnership program, which I've been talking about with our investment company. That's systemizing that process, is it not? That's what we're doing. Here's Jeremiah. He said, I just brought you the deal. Just want to say thank you for helping in selling my deal. I couldn't have done this without you. Lots of people talk a good game, but you do what you said you would do. That says a lot. This is going to be a great system that will help me get up and running. It just needed a little help, and you gave that opportunity to me. I'm so happy I came on board with your team. Look at that smile, man. He just like you. And it wasn't even a big check. It was like $2,800. But it was his first check. How many of you understand how important the first check is? Listen, my first check was $400. I'll never forget that. The guy comes up and says, how much you want for it? I said, $2,000. He said, $500. And I was so nervous. I said, $400. And he was not the playing type. He said, all right, $400. I was like, what just happened there? I was young, naive. I was just like, $500, $400. Like I thought I was trying to get the deal. So, but this is typically where most of you are at right now. This is you, and this is every one of the moving components. Yes? It really is. So you have to outsource and leverage your business to be successful. This is why you need a VA, a VCC, or you need to do it part-time or get a part-time helper. You need to start putting the SOPs in place. Without these SOPs, you're not going to know what to do. And you can do it at first, but please don't get stuck doing this. And this is called the technician stage. This is where people get stuck, is inside this stage, okay? We can automate right now some things for you. We can automate your lead generation. We can automate converting process, turning leads into deals. We can automate the exit strategies, which is putting your buyers on these deals, right? And then we can automate funding, which obviously you're already in funding. So we can automate quite a bit of that real estate process as we move forward. So Teresa was a single mom. Love this one. She had a full-time job. Her biggest complaint was, Zack, how can I do this with a full-time job? I work too much. I said, well, you can if you want to work the business too. You got to automate some things. And that's what we did for her. I'll shorten it up. She said she wanted to give her child a better life was her whole focus. And she said, after 2.5 months after using your system, I was able to go out and do my first deal, made $32,000. Is that pretty cool for a single mom? Listen, she was only making $27,000 a year at her job. Is that a game changer? Game changer. You know what? I just want to be called job crusher. Like, that's what I want on my tombstone. Zack Childress, job crusher. Like, if you want to quit your job, call Zach. Right? Crush! Right? Let's get rid of this thing. So listen, so many of you right now are a sinking ship and you don't even realize it. And why do I say that? Because there's this thing called the grind. You guys know what the grind is? It's when you're so consumed grinding in your business, trying to build your business, that you don't look up long enough to even know if it's working or not. And the reason that you don't know is because why? All you know to do is what? Work, build it. And so by the time most of you raise up, your ship's already sinking. And it's too late at that point because you're too busy trying to do all the work yourself. How many of you understand what I just said there? Yeah, and I can relate because that's where I was at. She's like, I ain't raising my hand. She's like, so the point, that's okay. You don't have to raise it. Just wink at me. There you go. The point is this, is that if you want to build this business correctly and successfully, what do you have to do? You've got to remove yourself. You've got to step back. And the only way to do that is to what? Put systems and automation in place to release some of the time it's consuming of you right now. You're right? Because so many of you are like running over here and you're trying this, you're beating your head against the wall and you're saying that ain't working. But yeah, you're trying and you go, bump, but that ain't working. If you'll just stop for a minute and say, you know what? It's time to try something new. It's time to try something new. Because if you don't try something new, you're going to get the same results you've always been doing. There's a quote, insanity. Yeah. You guys know what that is? Okay. I won't. Over and over again expecting different results, right? Beating a dead horse. That's a good one. Eating a corn cob's already been eaten. I don't know where that came from. I don't even know where that came from. Sometimes I just say things. As my friends say, Zach, I wish you'd think about half of what you say first. I'm like, yeah. I'm not the normal speaker, obviously, you guys can tell. I just like to have fun and have a conversation with you guys. You know what I mean? So, but then my light bulb goes off, and it's this. I started automating everything. So, quick question for you. Do you guys want to see the software that automates the leads from the banks right into your inbox? Yes. With your permission, I'll do it. Do I have your permission? Oh, yeah. I think you can get louder than that. Hold on. Let me do my noise meter. Do I have your permission? Yeah. Okay, we'll do it. All right, here we go. So this is a system. We go in here, we say, look, I want to buy properties at 40 cents on the dollar in Alabama, in this county, in this city, in this price range. I hit search. Woof, look at that. It yanks them all down from the banks. It tells me the ARV. I can export them out of here, import them into my offering software. But I know some of you are going to be like, but how do you know what it looks like? Because you're already thinking, see, I can even feel your thoughts right now. Yeah, but he don't know what it looks like. Watch out now. Look at this. I can go right over here and click View Details. Boom. Look at that. I can see pictures of the property, what the bank has. I can do an earth map. I can check it out. It'll even tell me the asset manager's name if there's no agent on here. Catherine, the asset manager. I just need to reach out to her. The list also gives me their phone number, their fax number. I can import it, start making offers. I can call. I can do whatever I need to do. How's that sound? Yeah. How many of you like that? Yeah. Is that speed of implementation? Yeah. Somebody say yes. Yeah. You guys are like still looking at this thing like did he just, what was that? Who was that masked man? So, all right, don't forget, I got one of these for the for sale by owner stuff too, right? Does the same thing. You just turn it on and forget about it. How many of you like that? What's the old Calgon commercial? Take me away. No, that's not it. I don't know where that came from either. So, I was just seeing how old we were in here. So, what about this? Would you like me to show you the software that automates the leads into deals?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So I call it the secret weapon. Why? Because it attracts and automates and it will activate your life. Because why? You're not doing the work anymore. You understand me? I call it an unfair advantage. Who likes an unfair advantage in the marketplace? As a good friend of mine, Cameron, says, I like to crush my competition. Watch him come and see you guys, and I already stole it from him. Listen, read it with me. It makes hundreds of offers on listed properties with a click of a mouse. How many of you, listen, this is my slogan in my office, click a mouse, flip a house.
I like that.
Yeah, how many of you like that? Yeah. We have t-shirts like that we give out at our boot camps. So the system will do all the work. What will the system do?
All the work.
How much time do I need from you?
None.
Who said none? 15. Somebody's listening to me over here. I call it the automated deal maker. Here's why. We go after the deals. We make fully automated offers. They go out by email and fax. You choose your phone call or your agent can take the phone call. However, the inbound calls need to come in. You choose your strategy. Buy, hold, lease option, wholesale, fix or flip. The deals are managed inside the automated deal maker CRM system. It's all managed inside there. It tells you where it's at in the process, when it went out, what the price point was, what the day was, how many offers have gone out. Then look at this. Then the properties are sent to what?
The buyer's list.
Or
To use.
or my buyer's list. You don't have to send them to me. Let me be clear on that. I know some people are like, I don't want to give him any of my money. You know what I mean? That's fine. You can send them to your own buyer's list, but we hope that you'll also involve us. And then the property gets sold and what? You start over again. Repeat, rent, start over again. How many of you think you can do that? Yeah, let me break it down a little bit further for you. So we go in here, we give it a campaign name, we give it a campaign date, or we say, look, this is the date we want the offer to go out on. Look down here. We pick our cover letters. Listen, I've written so many cover letters. I got cover letters for REO agents, for sale by owners, for seller financing, for commercial, for you name it. There's a plethora of cover letters in here that communicate for you to the prospect, and it brings in information. So these cover letters are specific to the property. It says, hey, look, the property at 123 Main Street, we've made an offer at $692,000 because here's the rental market and here's the expenses I'm going to pay, which leaves me with a net cash flow of Y. You know, but I mean, it's language to write, and it populates inside the system. Then you pick your contract. Look at this. You can even pick a proof of funds letter inside the system and attach it, an addendum. You can take a picture of yourself and stick it in there if you want. It's just saying, if you've got an addendum that say you're buying properties in a lead-based paint area and you need a lead-based paint addendum, you stick it in the system and you check whatever you want to be attached to that offer when it goes out. You guys with me on this? And let's say you're working with multiple agents all over the U.S. like us, then you can put all their profiles in here and you can pick whatever agent you want to represent you in that campaign, in that market. Or you put your own profile in here and you say, look, I'm not using an agent on this, so I'm the person. So they reach out to you directly. You got me on this? Then you can pick your price range. You can say, look, I want my offers to go out at 65%. You can say, I want to send 10 contracts a day. Now, here's the beauty of this system. This system is designed to be controlled by you. So let's say you go, well, man, 10 offers a day is way too much. Well, you can tell the system to send one offer a day. You could load 500 properties and say send one offer a day for the next 500 days. You guys with me on this? Or you could load 500 properties and you could say send 10 offers on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. It's completely customizable and controlled by you. Or you might say, I want to load 500 properties and send 500 properties day one. Because you want the biggest bang for your buck, right? Or let's say you're going to go on a 30-day vacation. You could say, pause everything for 30 days until I get back. You understand how controllable that is for you as the user. It's completely controlled by you as the user. And then look up here at the top right corner. You see that? Need help, need help, need help? So that's a video on every single page. You click on that, a video pops up with me or my staff telling you exactly what to do on that page. So do we give you a manual? Yes. But I'm not big on reading. I fall asleep too easy. So it's funny. I can read 10 pages and then I wake up and I'm like, what did I just read? I don't remember any of it. So I know other people are like that too, so we put videos on every page. Then here's the best part. What did I say that you're going to forget to do? The follow-up. You're going to forget to do it. So if you're going to forget to do it, I need to do it for you. You with me? So I can build a follow-up campaign in this system that says, hey, look, every 10, 14, 21, or 30 days, I want you to recalculate every offer and every cover letter and resend them. And I want you to do it 3, 4, 5 more times, but also, system, I want you to change my price point by either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% up or down. So the system does what? It goes in, it recalculates all the paperwork, recalculates all the contracts, recalculates the cover letters, repopulates them, rebuilds them, and sends them out for you while you're what? Sleeping. On vacation, sipping Mai Tais on the beach. Whatever, you understand? The system is out there marketing and bringing deals in for you while you're doing whatever it is you want to do. That's the point, right? This is Kevin and Susan out of Colorado. Kevin was engineer. Susan was in the medical industry. You can't even really see them there. But they were working so much. Their biggest thing was they didn't see their children. They had school, the nannies, and all this, and all they wanted was Susan to be a stay-at-home mom. I'll never forget his story. He comes up to me at my event, and he goes, Zach, this is amazing. He said, I didn't have the system but a short 3 weeks. I turned it on. He said, I got a call from an agent. He goes, it was the funniest thing because she said, we're willing to accept your new offer. He said, I didn't even do anything. He said, it was like a house fell out the sky and landed in my lap. Guys, you understand, like, I'm here for one reason. And that's to take you guys from the Flintstones to the Jetsons. That's it. The Flintstones to the Jetsons. To get you into the modern age of technology to speed up your business. That's why I'm here. Okay? So here's the system. Import properties. This is where you go to import. You add a property. It's 6 buttons. How many of you can click 6 buttons? This is not some crazy software. You understand? It's 6 buttons. You can go in and view your properties that you have in the system. You can view your campaigns. You can view your cover letters, create your own cover letters. You can go into user settings, and you can put all your financial escape clauses and special escape clauses so you can get out of these deals. You can upload and browse any documents that you want to go out with this. You can insert your own signature, and you can put your agent signatures in here too. This is what's important. People say, Zach, how do agents work with you all over the U.S.? Because I'm not trying to circumvent them. You understand? If Guy is an agent for me in Texas, Guy sends me 400 properties out of the MLS. I load them in the system. I load all Guy's information in there. When the seller says, I'm going to take this offer, who do they call? Guy, not me. Listen, I don't want him calling me. That's what I'm paying Guy for. That's why he makes commissions, right? Is to field those calls and negotiate those deals, not me. I'm just the guy that sends text backs that says K. My mom hates that. Don't one letter me. K. So guys, then with a click of a mouse, literally you're done. The system starts to formulate everything, sends it all out, makes your business grow without you worrying about it. This, my friends, is how you start to get your life back, start to generate deals, not leads. You guys understand the difference in that? Deals is something you have under contract. Because think about it. What's the average profit on one deal? If you wholesaled it? $5,000. So if all this system did was make you $5,000, it would be worth it, right? That's the point. And let me tell you something. This is not for the person who's like, I'm just going to educate for another couple of years before I do something. This is not for you. I'm just tell you right now, it's not for you. But if you're like the type of person that's like, look, I'm ready to make some money in 30 days or in 2 weeks. I'm ready to do this. This is not something that you're going to go home and study for the next 30 days. This is literally a piece of technology that you do what? You turn it on. And you put it in there and you let it do its thing. But it's whose responsibility to turn it on? It's yours. I'm not turning it on for you. Right? I mean, we'll send you emails that say, hey, you haven't logged in lately. Hey, plug. I'll get you in just a second, all right? So what type of deals are you going to get? Commercial deals, wholesale deals, short sale deals, buy and hold, fix and flip, all types of deals. You choose your income stream. It's not my choice. I'm just giving you the tools to get more efficient and get there faster, okay? This is something that is painted on the wall in my office, in my boardroom, actually. The amount of offers you make is a direct reflection of how much income you'll earn this year. It's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It's the absolute truth. That one statement right there will change your business. One. So I got to speed up a little bit. I got to get you guys to lunch. So what does the system do? It'll calculate the offer for you. It'll make the offer for you. It'll fill out the contract for you, fill out the cover letter for you. It'll remember to follow up for you. It'll do all your follow-ups, recalculate. And here's the best part. It's web-based. How many of you got a smartphone or an iPad in here? Okay. For those of you that have that, you could literally walk onto a house, click the app for this software, put the information in, and by the time you walk out of that house, guess what they've already got? An offer. How fast is that? What's the key to success? Speed of implementation. Oxygen. Who said oxygen? Action. Oh, I thought you said oxygen. I was like, yes, we all need oxygen. Good job. Marcus out of San Francisco. I got more testimonies I even know what to do with. I mean, guys, you can't do... Here's the thing. If you go read a course, it's up to who to implement the information? You. If you turn on a piece of software, the software is doing what? The implementation, right? So this is why, I mean, we just have them coming in all the time, these testimonials. Here's a guy from Texas. He's out of San Antonio. I'll never forget this. He said, I closed my first deal today. Attaches a HUD-1 snapshot of a property address from your system. Your system definitely works. It's worth the investment. I got my first deal in under 30 days. I purchased it at 33 cents on the dollar. I have 5 other properties under contract right now from a campaign I sent last week. I've had to hire 2 realtors to take all the flood of calls and negotiating. There's another guy here that's doing big business. Anybody know a guy by the name of Ian Flanagan? Yeah. So Ian used to be one of my students that went through this, built a business, built his own private placement. Now they're in Oklahoma City. They're out there doing a ton of stuff. They're right here in Dallas. I got so many students on tech. I got some people in Houston. Anybody know a lady by the name of Timmy Abney? You know Timmy? Yeah, she's doing 12 deals a month using technology. That's how she does it, man. Technology. You understand the average person can only do so much. What's the difference in 10 deals a month versus 1 deal? Money. That's right. So there's his HUD statement where he got the deal with the Bank of America, just for proof. Chris Horton out of Birmingham, he was going into the ministry work. He wanted to leave his job. He did a deal with us. He said he walked out of the attorney's office with a check for $28,500. He said, for $1,500 a month, it's not bad for my first deal. Now look, what does it say right here? Say it loud. Job crusher! All right? So there's a copy of his check. So why do you think smart investors use our automated deal maker system? Make some money, save some time, get their life back, take a vacation. Guys, are you shy over here? Lifestyle is absolutely the truth. I'm all about some lifestyle. Be with your family, or they. We're talking about them, right? Oh, but you're assuming you're that smart investor. I like that. I like that. Yes. Why do they use it?
Use the system for apartments.
Of course you can. I got commercial LOIs in there. Absolutely, man. You can load it in. You can go to, there's list sources that you can extract, lists that can be put in there, load up the LOIs, and poof, out it goes. So, all right, they do it because of this, guys. Checks. Let's call it what it is, right? It's for the money, okay? There's guys that you guys have seen on TV. There's 3 guys that are on TV right now that use this system. Now, I'm not going to say their names, but I'm just not going to say their names, but one's on the East Coast, 2's on the West Coast. But one of them has 7 copies of our software because they're doing so much across the U.S. And we own, like our biggest campaign that a person can get is 10,000 offers a month, and that's why they had to get 7 accounts, because they're sending out 70,000 offers a month. 70,000. Which is good because it says they're really doing this. You know what I mean? But it's really good for me because when the day the phone call came, and I'm like, oh, you want my stuff? What are you talking about? Like, all right. But do you know why they need something like this? Because they're teaching so many people to do what they do. They have to stay away. They have to stay in front of who? All those people, right? Yeah. I said, well, you should just show it to your students. And they said, oh, no. I was like, okay. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up for you. What would it be worth for you to just have these 2 softwares in your business? An automated system that would find your leads for you, an automated system that would turn your leads into deals for you. What would that be worth? Just throw a number out. You ain't going to embarrass me. If I don't like it, I'll tell you to leave. 500,000. I like that answer. That's a good answer, man. Me and you are going to get along real good. Yeah, yeah. So, all being done while you're asleep on vacation. And what if it could also sell your deals for you? And then you would have a completely automated business. Right? Have I showed you some pretty impressive stuff so far? Yeah, it's pretty cutting edge, is it not? Yeah. Absolutely. And it's perfect for new people. Why? It's like a business in a box. It doesn't matter where you're at. It's easy to adapt to any real estate business, part-time, full-time, software. You just have to turn it on. That's the biggest thing. My biggest obstacle with you is that you got to turn it on. That's the biggest obstacle, is get you to turn it on, okay? So we'll help you sell them and we'll help you buy them. Just like Abe, he was brand new. He's got 22 properties under contracts and several more closing in the next couple of months. He's 22. Look at this. He was intimidated to negotiating, contracting, selling properties, but he said the system does all the work. He said right here, money is no longer an object in my everyday life. At 22, right? At 22. The kid's just like going out buying I'm watching, and I know the guy, still stay in touch with him. I'm on Facebook with him, and I'm seeing like these fancy cars he's buying, and he's like taking pictures of his big watches, and I'm like, dude, buy something worth something. You know what I mean? Like that car devalued as soon as you drove it off the lot. But it's new. I'm like, who cares? Did you pay cash for it? Well, no, I put money down on it. I'm like, then you don't own it. So here's my success formula life, and then I'm wrapping up with you guys, and I got to get out of here. I got to go back home to my youngins. I've had fun with you, though.
Same here.
Good. At least one of you. Hey, I always say if I only change one person's life, I did my job. Success formula life is ROI plus ROT equals ROL. What does that mean to you? Return on investment plus the return on your time. Think about this. What are you investing in right now, and how much time is it taking you to see rewards from that, flourishment from that, implementation of that, success from that? You with me on this? That's what you got to think about, because at the end of it all, it's all about return on life. Listen, how many of you would be okay if you could just be done in 3 years? 3 years, just be done. Be done with everything. Walk away.
Money. Making money.
Money.
Not worried about money.
Yeah, like be not done as in the grave. Jeez, man. Where are you at? He's like, money, right? Money, right? You're not talking about done. No, I'm saying be done with it. Like, be done with the rat race. You know what I mean? Listen, if I go in 3 years, I've lived a good life. The good Lord is waiting on me. You know what I mean? So, but my point is be done with the rat race, you know? And here's the thing. I have helped people do it in 2 years. I've seen some do it in 1, but they had some other things going on that allowed them to do it that fast. I don't want to misguide anybody. One thing you'll learn with me, I'm not the guy that's going to stand in front of you and say, let's go make $1 million in 6 months. That's not me. Listen, I built this thing. It ain't that easy. Can you make $1 million with this business? Absolutely. But for the average person, you're going to be looking at making maybe $150,000 to $300,000 in your first year. Just get out there and do this thing, right? How many is okay with that? That's livable. You know what I mean? That's livable. I mean, I could live on $40,000. Well, I mean, I could. I mean, I could. I just pay off a few other things. I'll be fine. So, you know, my goal in life was this. I said, all I want to do is build $20,000 a month in cash flow, and I'm going to be done. Well, then I hit that number, and I was like, well, my goal in life is to hit $50,000 a month in cash flow, and then I'll be done. And then you're like, well, I think I could get to $100,000. So what is your why? That's the other thing you got to think about, because let me tell you something. If you're doing this for the money, guess what? It's not strong enough. It's not strong enough. You'll fade off. You got to dig deep. You got to figure out what it is you're truly trying to do this. Is it charity work? Is it community work? Is it your family, your kids? You know, what is the true reason that got you up out of your bed, put you on a plane, flew you over here? What is the reason? That's your why, okay? Mine is this. I know, right? Look at them rugrats. I was leaving this morning and my little girl goes, Daddy, can I go with you? I was like, well, not this trip. She's like, well, okay, well, when you get back, you're going to take me to Disney World. I was like, yes, ma'am. She's good. But that's Braden Shea and that's Ava Grace. So I was doing it for them before they were even here. You understand? Like, I mean, I go back 12 years. My kids aren't 12 years old. But I knew that I wanted to leave my kids in a better place and in a better time before they even got here. Does that make sense? Like, I was planning for them before they got here. These kids are so hooked up, they have no clue. I got what's called a living will. You understand what that is? Like when I'm gone, I'm still monitoring them. They got to make certain grades at certain ages to disperse certain money. They got to make certain grades in schools. They got to take drug tests. Like all these things are in here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on them, man. They're going to be like, Dad, what are you, Dad, you know? But I ain't just handing them millions of dollars. You with me? You got to work for it. It's funny, I take my little girl around to my rehabs now, and I'm like, go tell them to get off that bucket and start working. I'm teaching them leadership, you know what I mean? Like, get them back to work, you know? So, guys, I've done the work. I really have. I've laid the road. I've been where you are. I mean, let's just be serious right now. I know where you're trying to go, and I know what it takes to get there. That's just the truth. How many of you think that I have really put some things in front of you today that could help your business? Let me see you raise your hands. Okay. Here's what I know. I'd love to be able to just change the whole world and put everybody into one of these softwares, right? But here's what else I know. I'm not trying to have an office of 50, 60 people working and having to manage all that. I like my small office. I like my life. There are some restrictions that I'm going to put out right now for you guys, okay? One of them is going to be the Partnering With Me program where we actually will do deals with you. Why is that? Because it takes my time. You follow me? And I don't need to put on 100 students. I don't do that. I go out now maybe once every 4 or 5 months to speak, right? So it's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is very serious people. I'm looking for people that really did get engaged and want to take action right now. Because I'm going to listen, the whole room could buy the software and use the software. But if you want the advantages of that REO software, which I only own 50% of that company, so I'm limited to it, and you want the Partnering With Me, then you need to go back there, fill out some paperwork, because I'm only going to do 12 of those. Once we count out 12 at the top, the partnership programs will go away, okay? You can still use the software. You're just not going to have access to what's called a simple deal submission center, which submits the deals directly to me, okay? So if you guys know right now that this is something you want to do you have my permission? Go ahead and go back there. Keep a count of them back there because we're going to run out of them. I know we will. I just want to make sure I'm able to do this for everybody. So let me take you through to what you're going to get today, and I'll go over all the pricing with you. All right? So the way it works is we call it the Automated Deal Maker Membership, okay? I'm looking for successful. Give these people a round of applause back here right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I call it the Automated Lifestyle Investing. You get all the core classes, which you'll get an email as you come on board that has all this in there. You get the core class in class number 2, which is all about automating and turning leads into deals. Core class number 3 is the for-profit centers. Class number 4 is the virtual automated class. This is all virtual from your home. You can do this. Your membership includes hand-holding software, training videos. You can send hundreds of contracts out each and every month. We give you cover letters, custom letter editor. You can upload any attachment feature. You can pick your membership level. You can get a membership with us as low as $29 a month. Okay, it's super cheap. Or if you want 10,000 offers to go out a month, you're going to pay $300 a month for that. Now, here's the beauty. You turn this on and you turn this off as you feel fit, okay? This is not something that will just run. If you say, Zach, I don't need it on this month, then it gets turned off. You follow me? You're in control of that. Let's just be clear on that. We just pass that service fee over to you as you use it, okay? Because if you wanted to go do it on your own, you'll pay a lot more than $29, okay? So, and guys, I got to sign your certificates or you will not get inside the free month or the partnership, okay? We are a brick and mortar customer support company, okay? What does that mean? I have people in my office. They're literally right below me in my office when I'm in the office. You'll know if I'm in the office when you call in. You'll hear my loud voice running around the office. And they'll be like, that's Zach in here. So everything you see on the screen is what we talked about, plus more. I'm going to talk about in just a minute. It's well over $9,000 in value. You get the free lead generator. This is the software that finds all the seller leads. Look at this. This lady right here has got a fixer-upper, a must-sell, short-sell, need-to-sell, and it just dumps it into your inbox for you right off the internet. It also finds buyers. Look at that. Pulls them right into your inbox. Here's the REO software. Like I said, that's a $3,000 software they sell. I'm able to do 12 of those with the partnership program. It's just what we talked about. It brings off all the REO properties. Guys, I sell this on my website for $2,500, just the offering software. Now I'm going to do something, so when you make your offer today and you come on board with me, I'm going to call it a deposit of $14.95, and here's why. Because I want to give it back to you. How many of you like the fact I want to give it back to you? So I'm going to explain how I'm going to give it back to you in just 1 second when I come back there. So, and you guys, if you don't come on board after I tell you that, then I don't know if I can help you. The Partnering With Me program, like I said, this is where you're able to put deals with us. Good job, Abby. I got to sign your certificate, man.
Okay,
So,
pay it yet.
oh, well, you need to pay it then. All right, this is priceless because I don't know how much we're going to make together. You understand? We might make $10,000, $20,000. I got one student I've made $80,000 with. I've made 80, he's made 80. You follow me? Because he keeps sending deals to us. That is what I limit right here because I'm not going to bog my life down for this. Also, we have a platform called our Simple Deal Submission Center. This is where you submit your deals through, and it manages and tracks those deals through the process, okay? And we do deal review. Why? Because we review every deal that gets sent in, and we tell you whether it's a good deal or a bad deal. You with me on that? If it's a bad deal, we don't want it, and we tell you we don't want it, and here's why we don't want it. So you're able to what? Go out and get better at doing this business, okay? Also, I give you my automated lifestyle manual. This is actually pretty important. This manual goes through everything I did and put together to go on that first 30-day vacation. It's all in this manual right here, okay? $300 value on that. Also, my Virtual Assistants Training 2.0. This right here is the holy grail to this business. If you don't want to hire a VA, follow this thing. It takes you step by step by step on what you need to do and put in place to run this business, okay? We do the funding, which you already have here, so we scratch that bonus out. Plus, don't forget this. It's a yellow folder. This is my REI Quick Cash course. I'm going to sign that in just a minute. Just hang back there for me. Or you can set that down. That's fine. This is my REI Quick Cash course. This is a whole course on how I took a preacher in Huntsville. And in 7 days, I filmed the whole thing of me taking him all around over a 7-day period. Who remembers this? Did you see this? You saw this? Was this pretty amazing or what? In 7 days, he never spent $1 on marketing, never spent $1 to buy a house, never had a house under contract, never had a buyer in place, and we made $4,000 for him in 7 days. And I filmed the whole thing. I made a product out of it to show people that they don't need money to make money in this business. Is that pretty powerful? So I just threw that in for Lee's event only. It's called co-wholesaling. Guys, everything you see is on the screen right there. I'm not going to bore you to death with it again. I mean, I'm pretty much good here. But here's what else I'm going to tell you. It's $14.95, but this is what you want to come to. This is my 3-day REI Success Workshop. This is where I break down the rubber hits the road right here, okay? This is where I go over market segmentation and understanding why market segmentation is important, the marketing streams, online marketing, offline marketing, zip code matrices, the forward negotiation. I cover the 6 different wholesaling strategies at this 3-day event. This is why you want to be here, okay? Plus everything else that goes on at this event. I've got an event coming up in February in LA, and then in like 3 or 4 months, I don't know where we'll be after that. So
When are you going to be in the thing?
I'm here first weekend of February, but not for this boot camp. It's for another boot camp that I'm partners with. Let me finish this. I'll give you all the dates, okay? If you're living in Canada or know someone in Canada, it works in Canada, okay? So who wants to be my next successful student just like all these other people? Let me see you raise your hand. You guys all got certificates ready to go? Listen, who wants it for free? It's not going to happen. All right. So guys, you need to act now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about a scholarship program. If you've got a certificate, you're in the scholarship. If you don't, meet me in the back right now. I'm done up front. And I'm going to sign certificates and talk about the scholarship program. Come on back, guys.